sensible évidemment à la sécurité, donc c'est un travail de titan qui attend les inspecteurs ici. Voilà, sur des politiques communication avancées qui ne nous donnent pas d'informations de communication de la police municipale ici, qui sera éventuellement peut-être centralisée plus tard ailleurs. Donc difficile d'avoir des informations, mais c'est à nous de dire au fur et à mesure quelles sont les très précis, c'est ce que nous avons
inzoomen en dan uitzoomen. Dan gaan we de extender
Ik hoorde hem aan de wedstrijd. Ik dacht, ja. Maar ik ga de vragen, want ik heb niet zoveel te zeggen. Over wat? Ik hoor je niet. Sorry, dit valt weg. Over? Ik zie hier nog mensen voorbij komen. Wat horen we nu? Sirenes. Dat is doorgo, hè?
We have more details on that. Police are just saying it was a suspicious package, but rumors are that it was actually an explosive belt left by one of the suicide attacker. We're not entirely sure how many people were involved here at that point. We also hear reports that next to one of the attacker, or the attacker that is dead in there, they found an AK-47, also known as a Kalashnikov. So heavy weapons.
Retreat from NATO. Hand Putin a major victory. And while he's at it, hand ISIS a major victory.
Then what should NATO do?
NATO should join with the United States in utterly destroying ISIS. And I would note that NATO is ready to act in a way that our president is not. Donald Trump's proposal to withdraw from the world, to withdraw from NATO, to withdraw from Europe is sadly consistent with his statement that he intends to be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. We have seen for 7 years a president that cannot distinguish between our friends and our enemies, a president that cannot distinguish between the nation of Israel and Islamic terrorists who seek to murder us. And it would be a mistake to elect another president who buys into the same left-wing moral relativism that equates the terrorist blowing himself up and murdering innocent civilians to the brave soldiers and law enforcement officers risking everything to keep us safe.
Senator, on Mornings with Maria this morning, Donald Trump was asked about the visa waiver program, and not just Muslims, but also potentially Christians, atheists, whether that program should be put on hold for everyone. And he more than implied that he would be in favor of that. Would you agree?
There's no doubt we need serious scrutiny to the visa waiver program. The attack in Brussels is in many ways the fruit of a failed immigration policy in Europe that has allowed a massive influx of radical Islamic terrorists into Europe. Europe is in the process of allowing policies to fundamentally threaten the safety and security of its citizens. That is a mistake. And the visa waiver program was designed for a different era when those from Europe were not perceived to be threats. When Europe's immigration policies allow radical Islamic terrorists to make Europe their home, we absolutely need to revisit our immigration policies across the board to prevent radical Islamic terrorists from coming to America.
Senator, when you say that today's attacks were the result of bad immigration policy?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
President Obama is in Cuba, as you know, right now. Do you believe he should return home rather than continue the rest of the foreign trip?
While our friends and allies are attacked by radical Islamic terrorists, President Obama is spending his time going to baseball games with the Castros and standing at a press conference with Raul Castro as a prop, while Castro denies there are any political prisoners in Cuba. And then even worse, President Obama goes out of his way to agree with Castro's attacks on America. I recognize President Obama began his presidency with a worldwide apology tour. But the people of America deserve a president who doesn't grovel before a communist dictator who hates America, is attacking our nation, and instead of the president enthusiastically agreeing with the Castros on his attacks with America, we need a president who will stand up and defend America as the greatest light of freedom the world has ever seen. No other nation has spilled more blood, has spent more treasure, has lost the lives of more children, preserving liberty, preserving the lives of others than has the United States of America. And President Obama should be back in America keeping this country safe, or President Obama should be planning to travel to Brussels. You know, in the wake of the Paris terror attacks, world leaders came together in solidarity with the people of Paris. And yet strikingly absent was Barack Obama. A visual manifestation of President Obama and Hillary Clinton's retreat from the world, abdication of leadership in the world. And I would note that retreat from the world, the Obama-Clinton retreat from the world, is very much the retreat from the world that Donald Trump is advocating. Even Barack Obama hasn't gone so far as arguing for withdrawing from NATO the way Donald Trump has. And the way to respond to terrorist attacks is not weakness. is not unilateral and preemptive surrender, abandoning Europe, withdrawing from NATO, as Trump suggests, is preemptive surrender. We need a president who understands that America needs to lead. We need to protect the interest and security of America first, and we don't do so by leading from behind. We do so by standing with our friends and allies, standing with the nation of Israel, standing with Europe, and we do so by defeating the jihadists that seek to murder us. These are serious times, and we need a commander-in-chief who understands the nature of the threat, who will call it by its name, and who will utterly destroy it.
What would be the first thing President Cruz would do in response to the Brussels attack?
The first thing you do in response to any attack is utilize law enforcement and national security tools to make sure there are no attacks imminent, to track down everyone related to the cell and prevent any immediate attacks. But beyond that, we need a comprehensive strategy. ISIS, where it is located in Iraq and Syria, we need a comprehensive strategy to utterly destroy them. That involves carpet bombing them to oblivion, taking out their command and control headquarters, taking out their communications lines, taking out their infrastructure, taking out their energy, taking out the oil fields, taking out their sources of revenue, taking out their finance, taking out their personnel. It involves arming the Kurds on the ground, who are our boots on the ground and are fighting with ISIS now, and this president still refuses for political reasons to arm them. It involves using embedded special forces and whatever troops are necessary, but we will not send American troops into combat with rules of engagement, as this president does, that ties their hands behind their back and makes it impossible for them to fight and defend themselves. If and when America uses military force, we should use overwhelming force. Kill the enemy, and then we should get the heck out. And consistent with that, we should be working closely with our allies to track down and apprehend radical Islamic terror. The reason President Obama doesn't do so is because of his political correctness. Political correctness is not simply an odd verbal tick that President Obama and Hillary Clinton and the entire Obama administration has. Political correctness impacts policy, because if you will not acknowledge the threat as radical Islamic terrorism, then we don't implement policies to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. That will change, and it will change soon. Thank you.